No credit check business loans up to $2 million. You can get some same day within 24 hours and absolutely with no credit check. And how about an alternative up to 2 million, 5 million, 10 million and above with or without collateral? No hard credit checks. Bad credit is acceptable, as well as lower documentation. Hi, this is Michael with Viral Funding Solutions. I'm a business loan broker expert and business owner like yourself who's gone through the hurdles already of attaining funding. And it wasn't easy, by the way. And it still can be difficult at times on the sense of navigating who are the best and who isn't. But for me, no longer is that so much of a problem because as a business loan broker, now seeing it from this point of view, who has vetted the best underwriters, lenders, and team of network that can help you fulfill on getting the maximum funding at the best terms and rates, if not initially, but over time and much more. So if you're watching me right now, we are streaming live on the YouTube channel. Please give me a hashtag live or hashtag replay so I know the time interval you will be watching. This is more spontaneous. I did not broadcast it like sometimes I would. So let's get right into things. You're out here looking on the web. Perhaps I'm not the first person you've run into and found out about no credit check business loans or any kind of business funding. But what I do want to start off with and go into is why is it right and why isn't it not? So a lot of people out there will just try to push you into something. They'll say, hey, just look at the link down below. That's what you should do. It's in my best interest. And that's not what I'm here for. I don't do that. I come from an educated background. I've been in the finance space for some time now, helping a lot of businesses and business owners get the right type of financing. And as a broker, that's another way of saying I can connect you with the best lenders, the best underwriters, the best internal team that I work with. And I go to work on the back end to get you the best offer, bar none. And I usually compete and usually beat all offers that are out there. Been doing it time and time again. And because of my reputation that I built up over a long time, personally and in business. And so from this perspective, I now look at it and go, is a no credit check business loan the way to go? And in some cases it is. And I'll mention this. It is a pro if you already have an aged account or accounts where you're already generating enough revenue. And if you haven't been generating enough revenue with these kind of no credit check business loan platforms, then it may not absolutely make the most sense. To some degree it does. But a lot of these that I'm going to go into in a moment, I might even jump onto the share screen. They would require you to have at least 90 days of sales being generated, 60 days, 30 days, and a certain amount, maybe 10 to 15,000, if not more or less, and keeping it up. And so if that's not your primary method of generating sales within that association, that company, that account, that processor, whatever you have, there is a better alternative. I wouldn't go through these platforms myself that I'm going to walk you through in a moment here, but I can understand your situation. You may be thinking, well, I already have enough inquiries, soft and hard inquiries. I can't take another hit. If I do, I maybe can't even get any kind of credit-based financing. I can't even work on getting another personal credit card. Maybe a business credit card. Well, that's not on that side because I'm working on my business credit. It's disassociated from my personal side. Or maybe you're going, well, I can't rack up anymore because this other lender that I tried to apply to, they won't accept me because I've already applied too many times to them or someone else. And you may have it where your credit is above, it's in the good range. Maybe it's in the great to excellent. Maybe you're in the 800s and above. And you're saying, well, I don't want any inquiry on my report. I don't want them checking on it. I don't want any debt to income ratio rising because it's already high enough. Or maybe it isn't. You're so low and it goes up and down like this from time to time. You have your 800 credit score. It's where it needs to be now. And I can't afford to raise it because I also have other projects that I'm doing where I can't afford to have my debt to income ratio or have debt showing up on that personal side. But what you have to understand too at the same time is, what is the opportunity cost if that were the case? What are you foregoing to be able to have a personal credit check? You have to look at it that way and go, well, I don't have enough sales being generated with this merchant or this account, or I do, or I could have an established relationship with them, but the fees may be higher. It may not be a better relationship longer term. So then you turn over here to a traditional route. It might be a cash out advance lender or a term loan lender where they're saying, hey, you build a relationship with me, you paid off 50% of the balance, you're eligible to receive more funding. If not, the second time around, you get double the funds. So that's what I want to say to that part. There's more that comes with a no credit check business loan. And I'm going to leave more information down below on my number one recommendation on what to do with a credit check. And that's okay. Even when there's a personal guarantee involved, there's nothing wrong with being accountable and responsible for your own debt if you can't service it. That's why a lot of these other collateralized loan lenders, they look at taking collateral because they want to secure that they can get their funding back. If not, they fall back on the collateral. So what are some of these no credit check business loans? Now, let me go into the share screen one moment. Let's move this over first. One of these you can look at is Shopify Capital. And this is a very popular one. I know many people who have used it. I used it at one point for myself when I was in this world. I don't use it as much as I used to, but they would look primarily based off of the sales. They look at how much you've generated within the last 90 or so days, their account you have open with them, and they can base it off of that. And a lot of these, what they're called, let me move this over. I apologize. It's because I'm on StreamYard. You guys can't see this. One second. That's not one. Here it is. Since I'm on StreamYard, sometimes I don't get to switch between tabs and it shows it right away. But Shopify Capital is one source you can use, especially for a lot of e-commerce businesses. Perhaps you have already used them or you've contemplated using them. And you can see here some of the benefits deposited directly into your account, real-time offers based on your sales, funding up to $2 million, no personal credit checks, no compounding interest, no surprises, simple hassle-free application in just a few clicks. 2 days if approved, early, automated payments from your store sales. I have my ring light on my HP, so I really can't see these words over here. It does that from time to time. Integrated solution, so you can run your business from one place. And you can see the check marks there on Shopify Capital versus traditional loans. And these kind of more or less work as a cash advance. If you haven't heard of what a cash advance is they're basically basing it off of, and this not only them, but there's a few other ones, off the credit card sales as well. So if you're using credit cards, then they're going to look at taking a fixed percentage, if not a variable percentage of those daily sales. So some days you may have more generated, so more gets taken out. Other days you have less gets taken out, none gets taken out. And the thing with that, I'm not a big fan of that. Only reason being is that they're looking at credit card sales, not only with Shopify Capital, but with other types of solutions that I'll name in a second. You have to be careful of how you're generating revenue into your business, because now there's this whole other sector of revenue-based financing where we're not only just looking at credit card transactions, but we're looking at overall like credit checks, cash, ACH, deposits, wire transfers, electronic transfers. The list goes on and on. And we're looking at everything being deposited into your business bank statements primarily. And so you can have a personal checking account with certain vendors out there, but you're going to be limited onto how much you were approved for. So what I always recommend, and I tell business owners, is to have a business checking account. Primarily one that you're depositing the majority of your money as soon as it comes into your business, however long it takes for you to deposit, but you're depositing it and you're putting it into that one primary business checking account. And so what we're looking at is a total amount of cash coming into the business, all revenue, not just one source. This is why it's so attractive to look at other avenues as opposed to saying, well, I wanted no personal credit check, business loans or advances. I didn't come here to get another soft pull or another hard pull or this or that. But you have to look at it from a point of relationship. So with these, yeah, you can form that relationship. You can get more access, but you want more of a customizable, highly customized, and making sure that you have the appropriate funds in your account to use them when you need to, and getting it over and over much faster, being able to drop the rates, increase your terms, get you maximum funding way over time, and much more. So that's why I recommend my number one solution that I'll link you to down below in the description. But one of these, again, here we have is Shopify Capital. I wouldn't lean in with them, even if you're in the e-commerce, Shopify, WooCommerce, whatever it is you're doing, you have a shop and so forth. They're one solution of many. And I'll link, again, like I said, my number one solution down below. But who is eligible for Shopify Capital? Let's move over here to the screen. It's currently available to select merchants in the United States, Canada, United Kingdom, and Australia. So there is a bit of benefit there. If you are someone who's come up to me or who will and says, well, I'm in the UK, I'm in Australia, I'm in Canada, and we can do in a position instead of Shopify Capital for United States, Canada, and even Puerto Rico. There's some things we look at because US and Puerto Rico, okay? But eligibility is automatically determined by our underwriting model, which utilizes machine learning to analyze millions of data points released to your business that include sell on Shopify for at least 90 days. And that's what I said at the beginning of this. And this is somewhat similar to what you'll see with some of the other ones. Comply with Shopify's acceptable use policy in terms of service. Demonstrate consistent sales. We will send you an email if you're eligible to apply for funding. Additionally, when you log into your account, you'll get a back office. A message will appear on the admin home page inviting you to view available funding offers. So perhaps you're familiar with this or you've done it with someone else. What can you use the funding for? Anything you want for your business, we mean it. How does underwriting work? Underwriting has two stages. In the first stage, Shopify Capital's underwriting model identifies your business's potential eligibility to pre-qualify for funding. This model harnesses both traditional and non-traditional techniques to determine your eligibility in real time. During the second stage, the Shopify Capital team will review your business application to confirm eligibility for the amount of funding that you have been requesting. Doesn't mean you'll normally get that all the time. When will it get deposited? If approved, funding can be deposited in your business bank account or your bank account in as quick as 2 days and ready to use. No prepaid debit cards, no checks. How do you make payments? Payments are automatically inflexed to fit your business. Payments are set percent of your daily sales. Sell more, pay back more, sell less, pay back less. So this one here, like I said earlier, is for Shopify Capital. I made a separate video on this, I believe. I'll link you guys, try to link you to it down below that I'll go into it more in depth. And their different solutions. They're not my number one recommended place to go into. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for the comment, Fark. Appreciate that. And I'll keep going. If anybody has any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to voice them. I will get it going shortly. I want to keep it underneath 25 minutes if possible. So what is another solution we can look at? Let me copy and paste this to this. 1 second. So PayPal working capital. And before I go into this section, if I didn't say this enough, down below in the description, especially if you're new, there's a questionnaire form. You'll want to check that out. It'll be one of the first 2 links. There might be another link that I show you. It's like a big, huge post, a blog content post, and I keep it up to date for every year. You might want to check that out because that will give you it'll give you everything. It'll give you revenue-based financing. You're looking at credit-based. If you don't have the right revenue, then if you did, this is what I would recommend, which I want to touch upon in a second. And I'll also talk about collateral-based funding in that post. And I'm an expert at what I do. I've seen other people create content somewhat like this, but how deeply do they know the underwriting? How deeply are they impacted by their personal and business relationships with their team internally? That's a whole different story. So be very careful. I've seen people out there who just read prompts. We're reading a page on a solution. That's a bit different. But I'm just showing you what is there. And there are other notes that I have, and I've made separate content to PayPal working capital, Shopify, Square is another one we'll get into in a moment. But check this out down below in the description. Fill out that questionnaire, and I will give you a very highly personalized and customized email response. Notice how I don't say, hey, here's the application to this company. Just submit it in a financial advisor or a professional. That's okay. I've probably done that before, but I don't do it as much as I used to because I'm not just an affiliate. I'm not just a referral partner. There's people out there who are just dropping their links in the description, which I get. That's their thing. It's only their thing. But I go into it even deeper. So when you come through someone like myself, you're going to get all of the educational content. Nobody else on YouTube, I believe, does it to this effect. And I know this because I've seen it for a while. I followed it for a long time. And that's another reason why I got into this industry. Outside of getting business funding for my own businesses, I take this serious. If you're a tire kicker, an energy waster, just submitting a questionnaire, never to hear from again, Casper the unfriendly ghost. I just have to say how it is, not aggression, excuse me, not to be negative. I've never been like that. This is just giving you some tough love. So back to the topic. PayPal working capital, fast funding with payments that flex with your sales, a business loan based on your PayPal account history that you repay with the share of your PayPal sales. So similar to what you've seen with Shopify Capital, not so much different. The time can be a little bit, but payment flexibility, you choose your share of sales to automatically deduct as payment. So managing your cash flow is easier. So that's an advantage when you're working with PayPal that I've seen with others, is automatically deducts as payment. So you're managing your cash flow more effectively. And then the minimum payment is required. There are no surprise fees. Don't worry about periodic interest or hidden fees. You pay just one competitively priced fixed fee. No credit check. Your loan is based primarily on your PayPal account history, somewhat similar to what we saw with Shopify, meaning no, I was going to say Spotify too. Meaning no credit check is required, and it doesn't affect your credit score. Funding in minutes. There's no time-consuming application or check on your financial history. Approved loans are funded in minutes. So how does it work? You can learn more about them there. I've been through this myself. I've used it. How to apply for a PayPal working capital business loan. Step 1, you apply, complete the short application, and get an answer within minutes. No credit check and no extensive documentation. Step 2, customize it. Step 3, you get to repay it back. And then why businesses are choosing them and so forth. You can see there. We're going to scroll down just really quickly there. Application and funding in minutes. You can see someone similar to what we saw with Shopify. Repay with a percentage of each sale on PayPal. How does it work? Are you eligible for it? Have a PayPal business or Premier account for 90 days or more. So that may have been already a constraint for the majority of you. Have processed at least $20,000 in annual PayPal sales if you have a Premier account, or at least $15,000 in annual PayPal sales if you have a business PayPal account. Number 3, pay off any existing PayPal working capital loan. PayPal working capital is currently unavailable to merchants located in North Dakota, South Dakota, Virginia, American Samoa, Guam, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, Northern Marina Islands, State eligibility is subject to change and so forth. What materials do you need for many merchants? There you go. We're just going to speed through these really quickly, but you'll want to have additional information on hand. You will need the contact details, birth dates, and social security numbers of your primary business owner and business management as well. What fees? Unlike traditional loans, PayPal working capital charges a single fixed fee that you'll know before you sign up. No periodic interest, no hidden fees, and no late fees. What does it mean? Minimum required payment, Here you have, because your automatic repayments get deducted as a percentage of each PayPal sale, the amount you repay each day changes with your sales volume. The more you sell, the more repayment progress you'll make that day. On days without sales, you'll make no payments, but there is a minimum repayment requirement every 90 days. Depending on the term loan, on the loan terms you choose, you must pay at least 5% or 10% of your total loan amount, loan plus the fixed fee every 90 days. The 5% minimum applies to loan estimated to take 12 months or more to be repaid. And there's a little bit more that goes into detail there. Can I get more than one? PayPal working capital loans are issued one at a time. You can apply after paying off one loan to get another one. Many merchants do. Keep in mind that the future applications are subject to approval. So I can go even deeper into this. Let me move this over. So PayPal working capital, like Shopify, has its advantages, but like I said, they wouldn't be my primary solution. They would be just something like I have on the side. It would be something where, hey, if I ever need to do last resort, I'm going to turn to those. And is my business generating enough sales through them initially to even be looked at for enough? And if you're not, that might be a constraint already. And even though the fee structure is different than opposing others, you just saw how you can only take out one at a time. So where's the leverage in that? Where you go, well, if I only took out one, if I paid off 50% of the balance, that doesn't necessarily mean I'll be eligible for more. Well, if you look at what I recommend, again, I'll leave that down below in the description. Let's say you paid off 50% of that balance. Okay, well, then you can come back and say, I can work with that same lender again. Yeah, you have 50% of the balance paid off. And then we can look at just trying to do somewhat of a renewal, get you another one. There's probably add-on funds in the time being that you're looking at getting more funding down the road. You're like, oh, I needed an additional 10,000, 5,000. You just took this out. You haven't paid 50% of the balance. Okay, we can work with you to try to get you more if that's the case, if we can. And then 50% of the balance paid, come back, get even double the amount, increase your terms, drop your rates. And guess what? You have the relationship. When you have the relationship with that private lender, not like PayPal, not like Shopify, not like Square, not like Clearco or some of these other companies, You have that in the door. And that's why I always recommend those solutions versus these. By far, there's more to it, but because you're going to get early payment discounts, no prepayment penalties a lot of the time, you're going to get the best lender for you and your situation who will understand you, who will work by your side. You have a question, you can come back to. It isn't like an automated answering machine a lot of the times. It's not a robotic response. You're getting better benefits for the tier, for the level that you are in your business. And so a lot of these you can say they're not necessarily for startups all the time if you don't have what you need in an aged account. So if you are a startup, I'll leave more solutions down below. And if you stick with me to the end of this, we'll try to close up here in a little bit. I'll show you an alternative. So back to this. Now let me control copy here and paste 1 second. One of them you have is Square Capital. This is a very popular one. And this is one we can process. Let's say you are trying to get an alternative to Square, but you're using Square as your account personally and or in business. And you try to go get an alternative. This could benefit you. Now, if you're using other accounts like MoneyLion, there's a few other ones out there like Found and others, they won't work if you're using those as your primary account to get funding. Now, get a customized offer based on your card sales through Square, and then choose your loan size. You can see there. This doesn't really give you something to play with. It's just an example. And then there's no ongoing interest, just a simple flat fee. Repayment, it automatically is with the percentage of your daily card sales through Square. Pay less on slow days and a little more when sales are strong. It's your business. Get more money to do it. Our loans are tailored to your unique business. Money in your account as soon as tomorrow. No long forms to fill out. Pay it back automatically. You won't have to schedule any payments. We just ask that you meet your minimum every 60 days. Small businesses that deserve more credit. You can see there on Trustpilot. How do you repay this loan? Fixed percentage of your daily credit card sales. A minimum of 1/18 of the initial balance must be paid every 60 days. Can you request a different loan amount? Yes, if you prefer a different loan amount, use the slider above to select the amount, etc. But that's just not even like a pre-approval. That's just kind of just showing you. How do you determine my business loan offer? It's based on factors related to your business, including its payment processing volume, account history, and payment frequency. So if you don't have that, you can pretty much forget about this even working out for you in the very, very beginning. It might be something you want to turn to over time. It could start off that way too. I'm not saying it wouldn't, but you might not be in the best position to take that on and that kind of processing. Can I prepay the loan? Yes, you can make the prepayments at any time, no additional cost. The total amount you owe does not change due to prepayments. What happens if you miss a payment? If your daily credit card sales cannot cover the minimum payment, Square Financial Services may debt the remaining minimum payment amount due from your Square linked bank account. Are there late fees? Nope. There are no additional fees to your added total amount owed. Does applying for a loan affect your credit score? No, applying for a Square loan doesn't affect your credit score. Additionally, we don't require a personal guarantee for your business to take the loan. So that might be a smaller advantage when people are looking at trying to get no personal guarantee. That may be something why you want to go with Square. It's okay if there's a personal guarantee. The thing is, we have to be held accountable and responsible to some point. And you're going to see this even more when your business starts growing and growing even more and it starts outgrowing these kind of platforms. And that's why I don't stick to them. Like I said before, without sounding redundant. And even if there were a personal guarantee involved, personal credit checks, that's okay. We can determine your eligibility based on that. We can get you better terms, better rates, maximum funding. We're able to understand your business better appropriately to be able to get you better terms and rates at maximum funding. That's ultimately what you're getting. Better early payment discounts, the better lender, the better provider. This is only one solution of many. And so you're limited and you're constrained in your primary and secondary. You're right here in one bubble at some point. And so you'll outgrow these things and start thinking to yourself, well, I don't want to start getting it only looked at my credit card sales or it's just looked at that. I have a lot of revenue coming into my business. I need to look at it overall. They're not giving me as much because they're not always looking at everything coming into the business that way. So if I want to have a good and a better chance, I want to make sure that that lender is looking at everything, myself included with the underwriters. We're going, there's some cash going into the business this way. This is how much they've been depositing. This is the checks they've been depositing. Okay, I got it. No bounce checks. Then they have wire transfers. We're counting everything, credit card sales, credit receipts. They have a good credit processor. Boom. So over here, you might have been getting 50,000, but over there, you're getting double. You're getting, if not more. A lot of the times that's how it can work. So you just looked at some of the many of the no credit check, cash advance, business loans out there with the likes of Square Capital. You have Shopify Capital, PayPal Working Capital. There are a few more out there that you could look at. But I just wanted to give you a sense, maybe a Kiva where it's some kind of crowdsourcing or crowdfunding. It's given from the public, and then it's all put together into an organization that is now able to disperse it to you. But some of those take forever. Let's be quite honest. It's sometimes like an SBA microloan. If you guys are looking for grant opportunities, they're there, and I'll leave them down below in the description, but they're much harder to get. They take longer. I've seen people trying to get an SBA microloan that could take longer than 3-4 months. They're still in the process of going through it, and they needed now money. They didn't want to wait 1 month. They could have waited at most a month, but they needed something sooner. So here's my next segment, and I'm going to move this screen over. So give me 1 second, and we'll close up shop. Very quickly, why do people want to work with myself and why me? So I didn't get into this too much in the beginning, but I'll also leave a video for you down below. I actually released it recently, just another video on this. But 4 reasons why business owners choose to work with Viral Funding Solutions, myself here, is experience. For one, with the many years of experience in the business finance space and running multiple businesses myself, I can greatly understand the importance of becoming and staying well capitalized. So I won't go into it in every point right now because my other video explains that. But versatility, I got to move that here. Loyalty is another one that we work on. And so these are little things that, here, let me move this over so I can show you this one. I'm going to, because there's a correction there. I'm just making some recent changes onto that post or that page. So I'm looking at one of my other files here on Facebook. 1 second. Okay, just wanted to make sure that was it. So I'm going to change this one here, but this is integrity. So integrity is another one that we have. So versatility, experience, integrity, and then loyalty. Just wanted to make sure that was all there in the description. So there's those 4 segments. I won't get into it deeply because my other video will cover that if you'd like to learn more about it. And so I'm going to leave you guys with this last piece, and then I'll get going. Let me see if I have it up here. What you're seeing on the page is the last thing we'll go through. So if you are a startup business owner, or if you're not, and you're basing this off of credit. So for the majority of you, you may not have good credit, or you may, and you're like, well, I don't want to get a cash advance. I don't want to get these daily deductions or weekly deductions, because that's how the world works right now. You're not seeing a lot of monthly term loan APR products that are not banking related. A lot of them are daily or weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, sometimes monthly, but those are much more difficult to get approved for. So what I recommend is if you can look at a credit-based solution, that's where I would begin. And on this page, I'll link you guys to it down below in the description as well. You can check this out. And I won't go through all the qualifications, but this is another alternative to just getting revenue-based financing. And there will be more down below there. You can learn. There's a video. You can click there and go over to get started and learn more. Now let me move this over and we'll close up. So you guys got to learn a little bit about the different no credit check, cash advance, term loan solutions that are available. We got to go over them a little bit in detail, and I'll try to leave more of them down below in the description for you to watch individually if there. And if not, what I recommend is one of the first 2 links to click on. In one of those, they will take you over to my post. There's nothing out there like this in the market, really, that shows you it the way that I show you. And I keep it up to date. I reflect back to that same post. If there's something that I need to remove, add, multiply, subtract, divide, I will add it to that post. And so that's why I always recommend checking it out down below. And I'll also leave my questionnaire for you to check out. So that questionnaire, I'll get to the comments in just 1 moment. That questionnaire is priority number 1. If you filled it out, I'll get back to you soon. It's a Monday. A lot of things happened earlier this morning. I barely had a chance to do this. Once this is done, I got to get back to a few people. I have a few lenders. I have a few real estate things to get done. I have a few SBA. I'm looking to get a response from a lender here soon for someone, and a few more things. There's a lot going on. And so at the end of the day, they wouldn't be my number one solution to go to these PayPal Working Capital, the Square Capitals, the Shopify. I know you guys are looking at it from a, well, no PG, no credit check. Yeah, but to some point, you're going to outgrow things and you're going to start thinking, well, I don't want a daily or amount. If I go up high, why is a lot more getting taken out? I'd rather have a daily fixed percentage or a weekly fixed percentage. Micromanage those. You know what's coming out of your account. And a lot of business owners that are able to sustain these kinds of revenue-based Square Capital and these, it's how you are using credit card sales, pretty much. It's what you're generating. So it is likelier for those who are in retail, who are in the restaurant space, maybe beauties and salon, gas stations, etc. Trucking, it could work, but right now it's very difficult for that industry, especially contractors in construction and all these fields, because your depositing frequency isn't as regular as it used to be, or it never was. You're probably depositing at the end of the week, bi-weekly. So you're not depositing it every day or every other day like a retail business, a restaurant business is. And whether they have high enough credit sales or low enough or whatever they're doing there, you want to make sure you have something that's efficient. If you have other revenue coming into the business, you're going to want to use a different platform. And so be very careful about what you do and what platform you get associated with, because not all of them are created equally. So let me go to the comments. Have you filled out the questionnaire form on my site? I apologize. Sometimes when I get to speaking a little bit, it's not my number one thing. It's more of a blogging thing. But I'm an expert at what I do, guys. So I'm a very like mathematical and systematical person. But that's where I would begin. If you have, I'll get back to you. Send me a quick email, and I'll try to put it in the comments here if you guys don't have it. But the questionnaire would be form number 1 to fill out. See if that went through. Yes, it did. So that is my email right there. If anybody needs to get a hold of me, I'll also leave it down below in the description. But questionnaire first, primary. And then people go, well, I know you don't want to waste your energy and time, but it's not about people wasting my energy and time with lower credit. You guys wouldn't imagine how many people who even have good to excellent credit end up wasting my energy and time. That's why I can't always give somebody a phone call, or I can't take a phone call. I can't do outbound calls all the time. So I recommend that you guys fill out that questionnaire. If you have, I'll get back to you, and give me a nudge sometimes. You know, I got you guys on my list, but give me a nudge. Don't get disappointed if you guys don't hear from me within the first 2 days. It happens when I get flooded. Hey, Michael, just checking up to see if you have that questionnaire. Oh, okay. I'm on it. I was already on it, but now I'm even on it because they just showed responsiveness. If you're not responsive and you just submitted something, what does that show? It shows a lot. And so let me go over here. Appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, do. You are welcome. Please send me an email, anybody, and that questionnaire will be the first thing to do. That's priority number 1. No if, and, or but. Priority number 1 is the questionnaire. I deal with a lot of files, a lot of clients. A lot of these clients, I don't even have to be on a phone call with, to be honest with you. Sometimes it does need to be, but other times it's really just rooted on that questionnaire, because I'll respond back via email, and then you'll be given an email back with your best funding option and options. You can always reply back to that email. There might be something we need to look at even more thoroughly, but I've funded a lot of business owners doing 6 figures, 7 figures plus a month, and doing well over 20, 30 million a year, et cetera, 40, 50 above, even more or less. It doesn't matter what range. But the thing is, at the end of the day, we have to be the most efficient energy and time wise. And as an expert, not just somebody saying, hey, if you want to click the link down below to go sign up with this company. And that's not how it works. And a lot of you will just start racking up inquiries doing that without knowing what you're getting yourself into. Just on Friday, I believe, no, Saturday, I told this individual, if you're in here watching, I said to them, I normally don't take or give calls on a Saturday, let alone do I call somebody like that. I called them back, let them know, and then said the reasoning, and then I went into their situation. They started an application, they submitted all documentation, but weren't fully aware what they were getting involved with. And I asked them about their depositing frequency in their business, and I asked them a few questions. And based off of those answers, guess what I did? I pointed them to credit-based financing. So what they should do instead is, even if they can get more there, we'll look at their personal tax returns. We can base it off debt to income ratio. Maybe it's too high. Maybe they don't have the credit they need, but that's another look that they can have without trying to rack too many inquiries up. So an alternative to getting these daily, weekly repayments, you can get installment loans, term loans. You can get personal lines of credit, even if it's on the personal side. And you're like, well, I don't want nothing to show up there. I want it all in my business. But a lot of these companies look at your personal credit score to make sure that you can even get the funding and take on the funding and take on that debt and add on that debt. There are multiple purposes where it's all of it a lot of the times falls on the personal. A lot of the times you can see it on the business side as well. It just depends on how that lender reports and how that lender handles it. And I will help you understand that better. Now let me go to here. And no shame in your game. That happens. Everybody's gone through this, myself included. And so, yeah, if you learn from it, that's the number one thing. You don't want to say, hey, I have hard inquiries. And then 2 years down the road, you're like, I didn't ever do anything about it. Now you're looking for funding. Even if it's 2 years down the road, it's 2 years. And there's some implications that can come along with that. So I appreciate you. Thank you for knowing, acknowledging, and also saying, hey, I know how to remove that easily. And if you guys do need credit repair, honestly, I work with the best in this space. I have him a close personal and business relationship with. I have brought people into him. It's worked for him. And if you guys need help with that, I'll link you guys to it down below in the description. I used to do some of this more or less back some time ago, but it wasn't so full into it. And right now, because I want to focus on helping you guys get the right business funding. So that will be down below, as well as establishing your business credit. I'll leave a free video series. But the best way to even get all of this is to fill out that questionnaire. Fill out that questionnaire. I'm going to show you the business credit building if you haven't already. I'm going to show you the personal credit resources, whether you're trying to fix it with credit repair or not. I'm going to show you 401k IRA financing. I'm going to show you all the best credit-based programs, and I'm going to break them down. And I'm going to say, this one's best. Don't do that one because they're going to require this. Not every one of them is created equally. Here's the best revenue-based lender or lenders or organization that I recommend and why we should do it that way. Here's the collateralized options. Here's what we would do if we had to go through a traditional bank. Can we do it this way? Can we not do it that way? So there are separate scenarios for everything, but I got you. So that'll close up everything. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in for this no personal credit check or no credit check business loans, but they aren't always in your best interest. I don't even recommend them always to begin with. I have my solution down below in the description, and some of those may not even work for you anyways. So it's better to do it this way instead of that way. There's collateral, there's credit-based check, there's revenue-based funding, and quite a variety of them. So let me come over here really quickly. Got it. Awesome. Appreciate you. Thank you. I haven't had breakfast. Can you believe it? I need to go and have at least some cereal. And see, this is me, guys, in the flesh. This is me as an introvert being on video. It's hard for me. I'm the guy behind the scenes. I've said this before, just so you guys know this. I'm like the system math guy. So I am the guy who like runs everything behind the scenes. That's who I'd rather be instead of being here a lot. I'm the guy. You guys don't see it when it comes through an application, what I'm doing. I'm working hard. And you guys figure, how do you even have the time because I know how to put my blocks together. And so I go systematically, I'm creating this system where I'm influencing and I'm increasing the return on investment for that system for people, for other organizations. And I'm looking at the math behind it as well. I love math. And I'm just doing quite a bit of things. Will do. Appreciate you guys. Please like this if you found value. Share it with others who you feel will find value from it. And if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. Click that bell notification icon so you do not miss any future content I will be coming out with. And for all information, that questionnaire, that post, my alternatives to these no personal credit check, which I really don't lean in with and I wouldn't recommend anyways, be the primary way. And to do it longer term, really, it's not my best interest, but I'm saying that because I've had experience with this and I've been in this long enough to know. So look for that down below. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and I will talk to you all on the next one.